Okay, listing conversions. Remax Edge presents. It's a momentum class, listing conversion. Really, really important follow-up to listing properties. Now we need to convert. Remember the key components of all the four key components of our business is lead generation, lead conversion, client care, and then education. So today you've taken upon yourself to get educated, get some more education. So let's get into it. So the financials and security of an effective lead converter. We've mentioned this in the past, but it's certainly worth revisiting. If you're doing this for 45 weeks, first you're going to start to get consistent. You need to get consistent when it comes to getting into these conversions. Okay, so first you're going to track one set per week, right? Very low at the beginning. Just imagine one set per week for 45 weeks. It's 45. Show up rate 70%. Know that it's not perfect. See when you know that it's not perfect, you prepare for imperfection and you don't get deflated at the first sign that someone is not listing the property with you. And then conversion rate, once you meet with them, don't romance the lead. 50% of the time you'll convert at the beginning. That's it, just 50%. And just imagine if you were to work 45 weeks on this, one set per week, essentially you'll be at a total of 16 listings per year and then 8 closings per year. Could you just imagine with only one set per week? Then you get into the efficient phase, then you get to the proficient phase. I would suggest reviewing these numbers so this way you can set up your own magic number, You see, when you have your own magic number, do you, not someone else. Everybody is a little bit different. Some people have a different learning curve than others, and some have been in the business longer. But just imagine if you did one set per week. Look at if you did even 2, then 3 in the efficient and proficient phase, you would be setting 90 and 135 appointments per year. So the key indicators of success, your percentage of listings that sell. Now this, my friends, has been a very interesting topic. Some have said, well, you can't list 100 and only sell 1 or 2. Some people say it's no problem. I list 100 properties. If I sell 5, I'm still making money. But from an industry perspective, the key indicators of success for a scalable business has always been percentage of listings that sell. Okay. Sales price to list price ratio. Why does that matter? Referrals, right? So if you're listing something for $1 million and the average list to close ratio for the MLS is 95% and you're selling at 92%, well, you might have sold that listing, but will you get more? Average days to offer, average days to close, average seller satisfaction rating, and seller testimonials. One of the most common, most overlooked is seller testimonials. What's interesting about seller testimonials is that if you're not getting them, there's a chance that there was a disconnect towards the end with that customer. And I would highly suggest to you that if they, after asking multiple times for a testimonial, I would suggest to you the next listing or 2 going forward, figure out what it is the disconnect. Why didn't they give you the testimonial? And the reason why I share that with you is because from my experience, as I scaled my team business prior to this, the testimonials were becoming a little bit lighter. So we had to revisit why we weren't getting those reviews later on. And ultimately, I found that I actually needed to touch base with those folks a little bit more as we went through the transaction. So there's always a reason why you might not be getting testimonials, because I promise you, Your social proof is really, really important. Whether you're on Zillow, Yelp, Facebook, Google. So note that these validate a proven strategic approach with sellers. So these are the indicators. Okay, it's not about blindly asking sellers to list with you so you can place another sign in the yard. It's about opening the door. It's about opening the door to potential working relationships and making sure those relationships are designed to succeed. So many agents take the approach, not many, some agents take the approach of get the listing, get a sign in the lawn, get an advertisement on one of these portals, and then someone will call me, whether it's a buyer or another seller. Now this creates a vicious cycle with customers who don't want to use you in the future or recommend you because there's going to be a lot of unhappy customers. So know that you create working relationship, let them trust you. From my experience, one of the biggest reasons why someone may not work with a customer, or the listing might expire, is because they didn't trust the agent. The agent didn't share enough information with them. Valuing a conversational approach will result in building the healthy and abundant listing inventory you desire. Remember, did you read that? Healthy and abundant. That's the key, healthy and abundant. Get out of the competitive mindset by thinking you must list with every seller you meet. Stop it. Stop thinking you have to list with every seller you meet. Instead, live in a world of listing abundance by only moving into relationships with motivated and reasonable sellers. Motivated and reasonable sellers. And motivation, guys, changes from time to time. Motivation changes from time to time. Don't go into with the scarcity mentality. And I know it's easier said than done. Easier said than done. So scarcity mentality is I must get the listing because there's a limited supply. And the abundant mentality is I must choose a healthy relationship. Always confirm the appointment. The reason why the rate is so high of cancellation is confirmation. Don't assume that the customer has to call you. In fact, don't assume. Don't think the customer should call you. You're here to serve. Confirm the appointment 3 to 4 hours before your schedule meets. If the meeting is before 11 a.m., confirm the prior evening. Be professional. Because what I found over the years by not confirming and just showing up to the property, they come up with any reason to either be late or never show up. Oh, Mike, I totally forgot. I totally forgot. Also, you want to confirm all parties being present. It's important that all the decision makers attend the meeting. Otherwise, your value proposition will get lost in the he said, she said shuffle. Right? So if you go into the listing and not everybody's there, what's going to happen is all they're going to hear on the other side is how much commission did she charge or how much did he charge? They're not going to be able to hear the 30 to 45-minute presentation that you gave the seller. Be professionally attractive. Arrive on time. I know you've heard these basics when going through this program, but you can't even imagine that even some of the most senior agents have had issues with this. Okay, so once at the home, follow these steps. Park on the street, not in the driveway. Just because you drive maybe an expensive car and you want to display it, you're going to already start off on the wrong foot by putting in their driveway. You don't know that all parties are all there at the same time. Even when they suggest parking in the driveway, I like to park in the street. Why? Let me explain. Let me get another. Here comes the nugget alert. I've taken their suggestion by parking in the driveway, and then there's 3 cars in the driveway, right? Let's call it the brother, the sister, the aunt, the uncle. They're all meeting with me. Guess what happened? Oh, my cousin needs to leave. Can you go move the car? Totally destroyed my listing presentation. So 2 reasons why you're not parking in the driveway. Number 1, it's not yours. Number 2, I don't want any distraction when it comes to listing presentation. I don't want any distraction. Introduce yourself and offer to remove your shoes. That has always been the case. Introduce yourself and always remove your shoes. Move towards the kitchen and dining room because that's where because of the info that I'd like to review and discuss with you. I prefer to sit in the kitchen dining room. Is that okay? Why do you want to sit in the kitchen and the dining room? That's where most things get done. If you're sitting in the living room, you're in a space of comfortability and you're in quote unquote their territory. Typical decisions from my experience also are sitting at the dining room table. You have a table, you could spread some stuff out, whether it's a laptop, whatever presentations you might have, it's a lot easier. Ask for a tour of the house. Before you get started, why don't you pretend I'm a buyer and show me around your home, pointing out what you feel are the selling features and amenities of the home. What's the purpose of touring the house, guys? To get the story. So many agents say, oh, what lovely cabinets, what lovely floors. That's okay, but that is not what you're there for. You're trying to find, number one, the motivation, number two, the story, and then number three, what's most important to them? The highlight of the house. They talk about their master bedroom, tons of closets. You should be taking notes. The seller will share their story as they walk through the property. Is there a way to build rapport and take notes as you tour the home? Mix and talk of family, occupation, recreation, dream. The Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dream. Also take notes in regards to the home's features, amenities, condition. So a lot of agents like to say, oh, well, you should fix this and you should fix that. All they're hearing is womp, 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 womp. I've got to do more work. This agent is annoying. Use practical advice. You're not a contractor. Remember, stay focused. Get the story. Why they're selling, where are they going? Build that rapport before you sit down at the table. Get an idea of the house. You don't need to know every single nuance of the house right now. They haven't even given you the listing, so don't waste that time. I would say if you're spending more than 15 minutes on the tour, it's too long. Remember, it's a 1 hour presentation, 15 minutes for the tour, 30 minutes for the presentation. Write that down. 15 minutes for the tour, 30 minutes for the presentation, 30 minutes for the presentation, 15 minutes for the close. 15 minutes for the tour, 30 minutes for the presentation, 15 minutes for the close, right? Questions. So during this time, it's a perfect opportunity to warm up, set a conversational tone, exhibit your charm. Charm them. They'll get to know you a little bit more because they might not have known you. Maybe they found you on Zillow. Maybe they found you on Realtor.com. Maybe they found you on Remax.com. Where do they find you? This is not a staging tour. Then get back to the kitchen and dining room table and ask to be seated. And here's one. In which chair would you like me to sit? Isn't it true that most of us have a chair that we sit on in the house? So if you sit in that person's chair, they may feel slightly offended when you sit in their chair. I always ask, where do you guys sit? And then I figure out where I sit. So the conversational approach is to be used as follows: engage, then deliver the message, then gain the agreement. Become a listing strategist who helps sellers make informed, intelligent decisions. Once seated, you are ready to enter the conversation zone. There are basically three messages to deliver and help a seller take ownership of during an effective listing conversation. Number one, not all realtors behave alike. We must find and agree on the most appropriate price entry point. We each have roles with specific expectations. You telling the sellers you are different, and can add more value isn't enough. You must allow them to self-discover what a working relationship would be like with you. Isn't that true? Everything we've been talking about during this program has been essentially to let people self-discover